Hello all benders and non-benders, and welcome back to Avatar Generations. And today we have had the 1.11 update released. A little bit earlier than I thought it was going to be, a day early, so very exciting there. A few things that I'm going to go ahead and say before we do get started is, first of all, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the actual world to me. If you wanted to stay up to date on Avatar Generations news, I cover it all to the best of my ability, and we are almost to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can help me get to that awesome milestone, it would mean the actual world to me. Now, with that out of the way, we do have some new events and new rewards. First of all, we do have a 14-day login bonus. I can't show that right now because I already collected mine for the day, and they made it so that it won't show up when you pull up the game if you have already collected your rewards. Which is actually kind of a neat little quality of life thing, even if it's something I didn't think about at the time of recording when I went ahead and collected my rewards. But just so you know, it's got tickets in it, and the 14-day reward is actually a 5-star guaranteed ticket, one of the red tickets. So very cool stuff there. In 2 weeks, we get a free 5-star. Never a bad thing. So, a lot happened in the update. We do have new nodes in Kyoshi Island and Kinnu Harbor. We do have a quest line for the imprisoned, but that's not added yet. That's just kind of a quest line that's in the game. The location is not in the game yet. That is coming soon. So really no need to worry about that right now. We do have some very cool UI stuff here. If you look at the characters, you actually do get kind of a neat little nature background here, which I do like. I also think that unless I'm wrong, I think that the emulator is actually loading the characters much better. I'll be very curious to actually see them in combat to see if the stances look correctly. But as far as looking at the characters here, yeah, massive improvement. Massive improvement that I am extremely happy for. So, we got some stuff to talk about. The Summer Festival events. So, you know, it's a summer festival. Summers are chill, you're on the beach. It's probably not going to be... Rava, help us. Oh yes, we got a lot of new stuff at the moment. Yeah, we have got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 pages of new quests based on each of the 4 participants in the beach episode from Book 3. We have the May quests, we have the Azula quests. Blows my mind that Azula quest made it in before Azula, but that's fine. We have the Ty Lee quest, of course, and finishing it off with the Zuko quest. One more thing I do want to bring up here is, according to this, we do have one more day on the Twilight of Adventure quest. In a day, I do believe this will be replaced with another one that grants the tickets and grants the skill coins. All that to say is that maybe don't go too whole hog on these yet. I don't know if these would count towards it. If they do have a new one, I would hope it would. But maybe don't go too crazy fulfilling and collecting these quests just yet until we see for sure if this gets replaced by the next iteration of ticket rewards and the, of course, ever coveted skill token reward. But now let's get into the quests because we have got a lot to talk about here. First, we have the May quest, Hallowed Heart. Clearing stages mostly, clear any art expeditions, clear pirate domains, clear any training ground stages. That gives you some basic materials, gold and energy. Clear any element stage will get you some materials. This one's kind of nice. Clear any boss stage will give you some extra boss coins. So very cool stuff there. I know I burn through boss coins like nobody's business. So yeah, always down for that. Clearing specific ones will get you materials, which is always fun. And then clearing the stage 5 of any boss battle will get you nature stones. There's 8 iterations of this, giving you a total of 400 nature stones. Not bad at all. And then, of course, this is her item. Each of these quests has a specific currency item. We will talk about that in a second. But next we have the Azula quests. Typical to Azula style, she is all about fighting and kicking butt. We have got some arena game modes here, play arena, win arena, and then spending arena coins. Yeah, very straightforward. I know having 4 pages looks intimidating, but they're actually not as bad as they look. And with Azula especially, she has a very nice pile of rewards. Energy here, always good. 6 of the regular event tickets right there. Another 4 there, making it even 10. And then 7 Peace Chaos tickets. So with Zhao and Yue coming soon, you're going to want every single one of those you can get. So just something to keep in mind there. Excuse me, I have a bit of a sore throat, but we are getting through this. Ty Lee is the next. Beauty and the Beach. I do like that little wordplay there. I like that. I approve. We start out here with just spending energy, and that's pretty much it. You just spend energy. Just play the game. That's literally all you have to do. Super simple, super easy. And for your efforts, you get 5 tickets from here, you get 3 Peace Chaos tickets from here, and you get 100 Nature Stones from there, and then an extra 300 Nature Stones from there. So another 400 Nature Stones, basically, another 3 Peace Chaos tickets, and 5 of the event tickets here. Always good. And then, of course, we have Zuko. This one is basically doing adventures and stuff around the map. You get your timed nodes, you get your adventures, you get your resource nodes, all that good stuff, and then some skip tickets. And then just kind of your other stuff there. This one, the Umashu vouchers, which will grant you another 10 Peace Chaos tickets, by the way. You get those from the Umashu timed nodes. Those are kind of long nodes, so you don't want to slack on those. But nice thing is that you don't actually have to spend them anywhere except for the normal, well, you don't have to spend them, you just have to earn them. So that is rather helpful. We also do have some timeline tokens you can earn here, always good. And then by spending adventure points, you get adventure points back. Of course, I don't think there's really any new areas at the moment that will be in time for this, but even if you just spend it on the Nature Stones that you can get for the 5,000 adventure points, that gets the job done just as well. So that is what we have for these events. 4 events. They're actually not as intimidating as they look. It looks intimidating because it's 4 separate pages, but they really don't get in each other's way. They give you plenty of energy to get through stuff, and of course, all the other loot is always good. Speaking of loot, we have 4 different currencies. Let's see what those currencies are actually used for, shall we? We have 4 new relics here. And it's kind of interesting how this is playing out because it kind of gives us a neat little sneaky hint as to what we can expect from the respective characters. I'm going to start with the Flames of Truth here because technically the character for this one is already in existence, that being Dragon Dancer Zuko. Increase focus by 10% whenever the caster is a part of a team combo, that of course going up on tier ups, and you can get 6 of every single one of these, so just keep that in mind, you will be able to max them out. So this one is obviously suited towards Book 3 Zuko. Not really rocket science there. He is very focused on combos. This plays to that. If you did get Dragon Dancer Zuko some time ago, this, and maybe you didn't get his relic, then this will absolutely serve you well. So that is for exile characters. Nice thing is there are other exile characters in the game, so there's a lot of stuff you can use this for. Now let's talk about these other 3, because this is where it gets interesting. We're going to start with the Ember Island boat. Now, taking a flying guess here, this is meant to be a Ty Lee relic. Interesting that it's a peace relic, which leads me to believe that in the future, Ty Lee might be a peace character when she is added to the game. Very exciting stuff there. 50% chance to gain a random buff at the start of the caster's turn for 1 turn, with that of course going up on skill ups. I don't know how high that goes. Usually, if it starts at 50%, it goes up to 75%. That seems to be the usual cap. So just kind of something to keep in mind there. Basically, you're getting buffs. Every single turn, you got that chance to get a buff. You know, very simple, but can be very helpful. I also do wonder if it includes things like skill nullifier or even invincibility on a good day. If it includes those buffs, I mean, it wouldn't happen every time, but it could be kind of a clutch play every now and then. So that's the Ty Lee relic. Next we have the Beach Umbrella for Mei, I would imagine. This one doesn't give a whole lot of information, it just says Fire Nation, so not quite as many clues on this one, but that is okay. This one increases the turn bar and permanently increases the attack stat of all allies by 10% when any character on the field is defeated, excluding the caster. So, this one's interesting because it says any character on the field. It doesn't have to be allies. If you're taking down enemies, you're getting stat boost and turn bar. Very typical Mei fashion where she's just going for kill shots with her daggers. That's what this very much kind of promotes. You want to put somebody down and give your whole team buffs. So that is very, very interesting, and I'll be curious to see how Mei turns out. Now, of course, we gotta have the Azula relic. The Burning Net. This is for Chaos characters. Now, let's be real here, none of us doubted that Azula was a Chaos character, but I think this just about outright confirms it. 35% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn on the target enemy if a rank 2 element or higher is present when the caster attacks on their turn. So, if they have a rank 2 fire element or a rank 2 earth element, etc., this can cause the enemy to get stunned. Again, I'll be very curious to see what it actually maxes out at. If it's starting at 35%, probably maxes out at 50% if I were to take a guess. But of course, with the Chaos moniker there, we do already have Dragon Dancer Zuko, and we do have Jane Zhu as well, but I'd be very curious to see what this will do on Azula, because I'm going to take a guess here and say that she's probably going to be a Chaos character who can throw around plenty of debuffs. So that is what we have for these new relics. We also do have some loot here. We do have some food. We have some brushes, never a bad thing. We have the Peace Chaos tickets. We can get another 10 of those. And then we have this item here, the Legendary Arts Orb. Put a pin in that one just for a second. We'll be right back to that one. So that is what we have here. They haven't added anything to the summon shop just yet. They have added Bo Quinn and the Games of War relic here to the main special shop. I would imagine that they're going to have some summon stuff here. Like I said, these are actually hitting kind of a day early, so I'm going ahead and covering them, but I imagine that this might get some extra stuff in about 24 hours. So that is good to know. And then I do want to just kind of show here, in the upgrade tab, if we go to exchange, we do have some new items, including these Legendary Arts Orbs. Let's talk about that, because we've got 2 very interesting banners here. The Ancient Power banner and the Legends Path banner. Now let's talk about Legends Path first. We see here a Legendary Arts token and a Legendary Arts event chest. If we go to the rates here, the 5-star rates are low. They're rocking at a 2.5%. Very, very low, and an individual 5-star is clocking in at a whopping 0.03%. You're not summoning on this banner for characters. If we go down here, the relics, 5-star relics, go up to 0.1%. We do have a lot of the relics present, kind of like in the Tales of Four Nations banner. Kind of like this, only this one does have the much higher rate of almost 5%. We do kind of have that same set, basically, only with abysmally low rates. So what's the point of this banner, you may ask? The point of this banner is these items. Every pull will give you 1 Legendary Arts token. You spend those tokens on this particular item, the Legendary Arts Orb. This will grant you a random legendary art That is basically one of the 4-star arts. The ones that you can get from the boss fights or from the stage 6 arts expeditions. That's the point of this banner, is to get you legendary arts. It will take 30 of those, which equates to 30 pulls to get one of these. And then, if you take that banner to pity, that being 60, so summons until guaranteed featured content 60, what is that featured content? It is this, the Legendary Arts Event Chest. What this will do, if you get this chest, you will get a full 4-star set of one of these event sets, either the Deserter set, the Lover set, or the Legacy set. Just as a reminder here, the Deserter set is an attack-based set that will give you the Vanish State for a turn when you go under 25% HP. The Lover set is a health steal set with some healing for your allies. And then the Legacy set is an immunity set that will give your allies tenacity and will, with some new buffs, actually cleanse their current debuffs when the holder goes down to 1 HP. So you get a full set. Whole 4-star set of these relics. This one is interesting. Of course, I do want to portray my opinions honestly here. It's a fascinating thing to put relics behind a summon banner. But for now, relics have always been pretty strictly energy, using them on the expeditions, and kind of praying for luck. Putting them behind this Legends Path event banner is an interesting choice. And then especially with these sets here, the sets in and of themselves they're alright. The Deserter one is actually pretty good, and a lifesteal set's never a bad thing, and in later Arena, people actually do get a lot of use out of the immunity set. And then of course you have the Legendary Arts token here. If you go to Pity once, you will get 60 of those coins, which will allow you to get 2 of those Legendary Arts items. Something I do want to point out here with those items, it says that it is random. It could give you anything, and there's a whole lot of options. So just because you're getting these orbs does not mean you're going to get a part that you will even be able to use, not even talking about stats. So it's an interesting little thing here. You are really putting your fate into the hands of RNG. Especially with when you're getting these legendary sets, you might get something amazing. Okay? You might. You might get a feather with speed and accuracy resistance. I would love to get a 4-star speed feather. I would kill for it. But you might also get defense and HP on that feather, and it just be totally useless, especially if it's on something like the Deserter set. Then it's a botched feather, basically. So it could be something, it could really be nothing. And of course, with a 2.5% 5-star rate, you're not exactly summoning on this banner for 5 stars. So take that how you will. You would also need a grand total of 360 summons in order to get all of these, which again, like I said, is horribly random chance as is. You could get nothing from 12 of these and spend an egregious amount of summons getting these coins. I don't know if they're going to make these coins available elsewhere. Judging by the description of the coins, it doesn't seem like they will. It does say from the Legendary Arts summoning banners, which also leads me to believe that this is going to be a recurring thing. Like I said, watch yourself on this one. This one could be something for you. It could be absolutely nothing for you. So watch yourself is what I'm going to say, and we'll come back to that in just a second. Next, we do have the Ancient Power event. This one being focused on relics, these 5 specifically. Just to go over them real quick here, we do have Mural of the 5. This is an Earthbender relic, increases the damage from critical attacks enemies take from all sources by 10%. Of course, that going up on tier ups. for 1 turn if they are inflicted with the earth element when the caster attacks, up to 3 times per turn. So basically, they get inflicted with that earth element, and then everybody is basically going to be just doing more damage. If I'm correct here, it lasts for 1 turn. And I don't know if it's basically like, if it applies to all enemies or if it's just that one enemy when they get hit with the Earthbender ability. But it also says that it does stack up to 3 times per turn. So this is a relic that's not going to cut off on you like some like Games of War if you're having more of a long battle. This one is always going to be able to stick around and help you with your damage. I immediately think of someone like Jinzu, who he always crits. That's part of his kit. That's something that immediately comes to mind, so could be quite the damage buff if you do pull some of those. We do have the Planetarium, 20% chance to reduce the advanced skill cooldown by 3 after you attack, with that percentage going up, of course. Just a reminder, this relic is also in the summon shop if you did have spare 5-star duplicate coins. Next, we do have the Ceremonial Drum for defensive characters. 45% chance to grant increased speed and 45% chance to grant increased attack to all allies for 2 turns whenever the opponent uses an attack that hits all allies at once. So basically, instead of going for a relic like Statue of Kyoshi that's more defensive, you're going for this, where if the enemy tries to clobber you with an AoE, you're going to give all of your allies the chance for a devastating counterattack. You get that increased speed, that increased attack if that chance hits, and they'll be able to hit harder. We do have the Desecrated Fountain here. Reduce the speed of each enemy that triggers a turn bar increase effect by 20% for 3 turns, 1 time per enemy. And of course that going up on the tier ups. I'd be very curious to see how much that goes up by. So basically, in exchange for them getting turn bar, you are nuking their speed. I would be especially curious, I bet this would be actually rather helpful on the higher tiers, because then you're really hitting their speed stat. So even though they're getting turn bar, they're not going to be able to gain as much turn bar after the fact because their speed is lower. Very interesting stuff there. And then finally, Relics of the Avatar. 50% chance to gain Echo for 1 turn when you inflict an elemental effect on an enemy that is an Avatar character. If we do take a look at the rates here, we do actually have a higher 6.5% rate. But almost all of that is delegated to the relics. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5% right there. 50% being in the supports here, and then the remainder going towards the characters, with them rocking at a 0.07%. So 0.12 over here, and then 0.07 over here. So, looking at this banner, Relics of the Avatar has actually aged pretty well. I wasn't too wild about it when it first came out, but with the introduction of Kyoshi and the promise of other avatars in the Timelines events, this relic has the potential to age like a fine wine. I have on occasion seen a Kyoshi use this relic, and if she procs that Echo and gets lucky with it, that can actually make a bit of a mess. Desecrated Fountain is also pretty interesting. It is for mind characters, which does kind of fit their playstyle. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Ceremonial Drum here is an interesting choice for a defense character, being that, like I said, it's an offensive support. If you're using Ceremonial Drum, you are sacrificing other stuff like the Statue of Kyoshi, which it's debatable if that's a fair trade. If you got this high enough to where you're just getting raw stats, then sure. But that could be a hard pill to swallow. Planetarium, you technically can get semi-free to play. It's in the summon shop if you get spare 5 stars. Now I know that's a heck of an ask, but it is the reality of it that technically speaking, it is in the summon shop. And then Mural of the 5. It requires some team play. I know I mentioned Jianzu just a second ago. Problem is, he can't really be the one who uses this, as they need to be taking more damage from critical attacks before he's attacking. So you kind of have to play around it there. So, an okay set of relics here. But I wouldn't say that the banner is terribly worthwhile. Except when you go to pity, when you get to 60, you get one copy of every relic. You get one copy of each of these relics, a 5-for-1 combo on that 60th pull, and I read that several times in the announcement. It's the truth. You get one on your 60th, one of each on your 60th pull. That changes things a little bit. Even though I am not the biggest fan of a couple of these relics, there are still some winners in here. And in terms of raw value, even if you're having the worst time, like I said, the rates are pretty good of getting those relics, all things considered. You could even get a character just kind of randomly, which is never a bad thing. And 5 relics and 5 guaranteed relics on a 60 pity is not the worst thing in history. So, with these 2 banners, I will summon on them in a video for the sake of journalism, if nothing else. Because, you know, YouTube channel, gotta get that sweet content, all that good stuff. I will summon on them for the sake of journalism. I'm gonna take this Legends Path to pity once. Ancient Power will play that one by ear. I'm not decided on that one. We'll see. But for you guys, I advise caution, and I advise you be aware of your current position in the game. If you are running low on resources, maybe a banner went bad for you, maybe you do summon on the Tales of the Four Nations here, or maybe you've maybe you haven't even kept up with it really, maybe you play on the more casual side. Nothing wrong with that, absolutely. Honestly, it's probably more fun for you that way, just to play casual, you don't feel pressured. This is not the banner for you. I would recommend, if you're more casual or you're hurting for resources, do not feel pressured by these banners. They are extra stuff. They are extra stuff. They are not characters. There are plenty of relics in the game, including these shockingly useful, powerful opponent characters that are dramatically more free-to-play friendly. Like I said, the relics could totally backfire on you. Or excuse me, the arts could totally backfire on you. You could get a legendary art that's worthless. Or you can go to the Ancient Power and you might get some luck, you might not. I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you're having doubts on these banners, don't worry about it. It is not essential. Especially if you're down to just Nature Stones. Keep in mind, Princess Yue and Zhao is coming very, very soon, in a week basically. Save your resources if you're worried about it. If you're more so kind of closer to my position, or you're not too opposed to spending money anyway, and you just want to go for it, maybe you want some of the easy relics, maybe you want to try your luck with this, more power to you. Go for it. Have fun. Go nuts. All that good stuff. But I'm just here to warn you, these might not go your way if you're finding yourself a little more strapped for resources, or maybe you're a newer player. But that is all we have for today. A lot to talk about and a lot to come. This was a biggie. This was a serious biggie, but a lot of good stuff, a lot of good loot from the event challenges specifically. 4 new relics here, never a bad thing, with some interesting little hints of characters we'll be getting, hopefully, very, very soon. But that is all we're going to be discussing for today. Hope y'all found this useful. If you did, let me know down in the comments. And like I've said before, if you could subscribe, it would mean the actual world to me. We can grow this channel and hopefully grow with the game and keep making content on it for as long as possible. So that is all we have for today. We shall see you next time. Have a good one.